everybody, it's Risa and Kevin from Hudson Valley Vintage. Welcome, welcome. It's Wednesday night, our favorite night of the week. Tonight, we are going to be showing you how to stain with General Finishes gel stain. And then we're going to show you how to use the gel top coat, which is satin. So, General Finishes top coat gel stain comes in 15 different shades. This is the one we're going to be using on this piece. It's called Carbon Gray. Let's just review what we did with this. So this is a really cute little antique sideboard, and we painted it with Couture. The main color is Charlotte Gray. So the inside is painted in a different color. It's called Queen's Court. I'm going to show them that. Then what we did something kind of interesting. We did some stripes on the side. You want to show them the side?
Oh yeah, yep.
And we actually have a tutorial showing you guys how to do this. So that's on our YouTube channel if you want to watch that. This was with Deep Lake and of course the Charlotte Gray. And then what we did was we glazed it also with Couture. And the glaze I used was a combination of weathered wood and zinc. So I did a mixture. I took about 5 parts weathered wood and 1 part zinc. I literally took a teaspoon and scooped it out into a cup and mixed it up. So I used 5 teaspoons of the weathered wood, 1 teaspoon of the zinc, mixed it up. The zinc is like a metallic-y glaze, but it was just too dark for this color. And I felt like the weathered wood alone was too light, and the two together really popped, and I'm really happy with it. So now we're gonna go ahead and finish it and stain it. You want to tell us what you did, babe, to get the top ready for stain?
If you have an old piece, this was a mess. If you have an old piece that has a really nice top, I'll kind of get in a little closer. You can actually see the wood pattern here, but this had a veneer on the top that was half broken off and peeled. So what I did, it really didn't take a lot of effort. What I really did was I took a warm, wet cloth, I soaked it, threw it in the microwave, and then laid it out. Yep, like a towel, just like this. And then what I did was I wet it and laid it out over the top of the veneer, and just let it sit for a couple of hours. And what that did was the moisture from the warm, wet towel got down through the veneer, softened the glue, and with a putty knife, I literally, with no effort at all, it took a couple of days, but I would spend 5 minutes, scraped the entire veneer off the top and left the wood. I then just quickly sanded this off. I think it was 220 or something. So if you look at it, the boards are really well done. Everything's put in there.
It's really interesting on these old pieces when they did do a laminate or a veneer, they did it
over oak, beautiful oak.
Wood. They only did it for the effect.
Yep. So if you've got a veneer top and you look at the back and you see that it's not a veneer over particle board, it may not be ruined, and maybe removing the veneer gives you a whole new. This is a solid wood piece, so I think it really is a great candidate for the gel stain.
So we painted the back here, this little lip up here, and Kevin sanded everything off. So we're all good. So the gel stain, if you haven't used it before, is very thick. It's got like a pudding consistency. So I am going to shake it just a little bit. But the real key to the gel stain is to stir it. And as I said before, there's 15 different shades. We carry them in pints, which we're working with a pint container tonight, half pint, and quarts. It goes a long way. So this is an oil-based gel stain. And as I said, it's very thick, and the real key to it is mixing it up really well. So I am using a foam brush. I have two different sizes. I have a 1 inch and a 2 inch. And you also want to have shop cloths, shop towels on hand. I would use the disposable kind because you don't want to be putting oil-based, rags in your washing machine.
No.
Okay. So I've got this all mixed up. So now I'm just going to start applying it on my piece. It is thick, but you don't need to like slather. I've seen some people use it where they're like completely slathering it on really super thick.
You don't have to.
You don't. I just want to make sure that I get it into these little holes. We have like some wormholes on here. So I want to make sure I get that. And it goes on really easy. There's nothing watery about this, so unless you're really slathering it on like crazy, you shouldn't have to worry about a big mess. I do recommend wearing gloves, although I never do. I'm going with the grain. So here's the part now that I'm gonna, that I would say you're gonna wanna put, if you haven't already, that you're gonna wanna put gloves on, because this is a bit of a messy part. I don't like wearing gloves, so I'm not going to, but you should. So now I'm gonna start wiping back. So I folded up my cloth, and I'm just gonna start wiping back, and I'm going with the grain. Now, I'm going to do this a couple of times, so I'm not terribly worried about getting everything off this first time. Now, you might be wondering if we took it off so quickly because we're doing this tutorial, and the answer is no. So that's all there is to applying the gel stain. So now what we're going to do is move to the front of the store where I have a table that I stained months ago, but I want to apply one more coat of the top coat on it. So if you've been to our store, you might have seen this table that's been in the front. This is painted in a color on the bottom called Reverend Gray from General Finishes. And the top is actually stained in the same color that we just stained that other piece in. And you're probably thinking it looks different, and it does, because every wood is going to look different. This is oak as well, but it's it's a different piece. So now I'm using the gel top coat. Now all of their gel top coats are satin, I believe. And again, we have these in half pints, pints, and quarts. What I did before I started this tonight was I gave this a light sand. Now I have already done 2 coats, so this is my 3rd coat, and it's going to be my final coat. And I gave it a very light sand with a very, very fine grit sandpaper, and then I wiped all the dust off. And again, I want to make sure that I have everything covered, but I'm not glopping it on. This is an oil-based top coat, as you would expect. So if you were to buy a gel stain and then say to me, well, I have a water-based top coat at home, I'll use that, that's not going to work. And you do need a top coat for these stains. Almost every stain on the market requires a top coat. So I'm going to move back over here, and I'm going to start wiping back where I started.
Well, So you're going to wipe this back.
Yeah,
but
you have to.
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
So if you wanted a heavier coat, but you don't want to do that, you should wipe this back.
Wipe it back. Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Yep,
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Just
Yeah.
in case, because some people like a really thick, clear coat on it, but that's not what you
know,
want to do with this.
You can do up to, you can do more coats. This is my third coat. It's going to be my last coat. You know, you can do more coats. You could probably do it a little thicker than this, but you're never going to leave it.
Mm-hmm. And that's a key difference with like a spray-on clear coat. You don't wipe it back. So,
Right, or water-based.
yep, or a water base. So here the big difference.
But most oil-based stains or top coats you do wipe back. At least the ones that I've used.
Well, I was just going to say all the polyurethanes, the oil-based polyurethanes you put on and you leave them.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is an important distinction.
It looks great, and that's all there is to it. That's the top coat. So it's the same consistency as the stain. You apply it the same way.
How long would you have to wait in between those three coats if you want to just continue putting coat after coat on?
I would wait at least 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, and also after you stain it. Now, one of the things you're going to notice, after you do your stain, let it dry. I'd actually let the stain, I like to let that dry about 2 days before I do the top coat. When you wipe back your top coat, when you're applying your top coat, even when you are wiping it back,
Your first one.
the first one,
Yeah.
you're gonna pull back some of the stain.
So it's okay.
That's fine. That's normal. Don't panic. So do your stain. Wait like 2 days. If you can wait longer, that's even better.
Yeah, the oil base will help.
Wipe back some of
It'll
it.
help soften up the surface of the top coat, and that's how it bonds. It
Yeah.
actually bonds to it pretty
And
well.
actually, all right, everybody. Good night. Thank you so much for watching.